Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. And today we finna react to when a franchise literally won't end. Let's see here. Simpsons, SpongeBob, South Park, Family Guy. Trying to think what else has been out there for the longest and it needs to come to an end. I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but I know those are the ones for sure that all need to come to an end. SpongeBob should have went out a long time ago. SpongeBob should have went out after the first movie. There should have been no more SpongeBob episodes after that. There was supposed to be no more SpongeBob episodes after that, but Nickelodeon didn't know how to fucking pivot from SpongeBob. And y'all still consider Nickelodeon the best kids cartoon channel of all time, and Cartoon Network, every big hit they ever had, they've been able to excel and move on from. Don't ever tell me that Cartoon Network is not the best kids network. It is. It's the best one because they don't lean on shows. That's one thing about Cartoon Network. They never leaned on shows. Nickelodeon, they've leaned on shows. They've let shows die and then leaned on them. And that's been their biggest downfall, in my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, that's their biggest downfall. I digress. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get right into this.
Thank you everyone for coming. We're gathered here to celebrate the life of a show that's touched both our lives and YouTube Shorts feeds, and known for inspiring millions of people to get up and change the channel.
I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck is still watching Family Guy to this day. Like, to this day, who the fuck is still watching Family Guy? There's like, bro, Family Guy died a long time ago, bro. Like, bro, they stopped being funny a long time ago. I want to say like 2011, 2012. Family Guy has not been funny since then. So why is people still watching? I understand if you're watching the reruns and they playing like the golden years of Family Guy, but for the most part, bro, if you still watching Family Guy and in the big 2026, grow up. Like, I'm dead ass serious, bro. Like, grow up, bro. It's time, bro. Let it go, bro. It's time. It's done, bro.
You light my fire.
Halfway.
Hell no. Trash ass nigga. Move this man. Get this sorry ass nigga out of here. You suck. Man, you know what? I'm tired of you. I'm tired of this shit. What more do you want from me? Try it.
You're done. You're washed. It's over.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I'm just saying, bro. But anyway, so
I'm going to hear a few words from one of the only people that is still watching Family Guy. Hi, yeah, me again. Look, I'm sure we've all had that one show that's like gone on for so long that it just ends up like spinning its wheels, like the car that hit Brian in Family Guy. Thank you, not the time. Recently for me, it was The Boys, which I am constantly embarrassed to ever publicly talk about because here I was thinking a show where a guy got straight teeth from an octopus was ever going to have a satisfying ending. And in the words of the great Peter Griffin Family Guy, that reminds me of the time that 2.5 Men got to the end of its final season and had lost about 1.5 of its men. Shows that go on for so long that they lose their main character, or replace their host with Joey from the hit sitcom Joey, or take after My Parents and add a baby that just ends up making everything worse. But then, you get these shows that have transcended previously thought limits, where they no longer have to worry about things like ratings or angry IMDb reviews written by 45-year-olds, where we've all just accepted them as a constant part of our lives, like taxes and those weird ads about toes on every BuzzFeed article. And like, I get it, man, like it's so hard to get people to watch something when the cast isn't like half naked and or British. So when you finally do pull off a show that people watch, you do just want to hold onto it for dear life. But I think it gets to a point, bro. We're now going to show you a video that was prepared earlier by the family.
You shouldn't have done that.
Does that mean that you want to stop?
No. Oh, it feels so good. Tell me you want it.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, God. Don't stop, you generous man.
It's all night.
Right there. Right there.
The Simpsons, SpongeBob, Family Guy. I think it speaks to the quality of how good these shows started, that they're still able to coast off of the goodwill of those earlier seasons, even after all this time, where I give you about 2 seconds on any social media to run into a Simpsons or SpongeBob meme, but I guarantee you that almost every time, it's gonna be something from one of those earlier seasons, where sometimes it feels like the newer episodes only exist in the form of like 40-minute long YouTube videos complaining about how the shows fell off. And it's not like Modern Simpsons is the worst show of all time. We're just now at a point where like the amount of it that people call the good part is like a small minority of the show. And the rest of it is about as unwanted as Meg from Family Guy. Please stop. But yeah, like compared to the earlier seasons that were getting like the 90s equivalent of like Mr. Beast views down to only like 1 million viewers an episode is still kind of impressive when you think about like literally who is watching TV anymore. But I think even the strongest Simpsons fans who have stuck with the show even through its K-pop episodes with Fortnite CGI have to admit that the animation quality went backwards, the online ratings started to look like a giant picture of Lisa, and every sentence that comes out of Marge's mouth sounds like her last words. One of the greatest tragedies of my life was deciding to be 13 when Rick and Morty first premiered, where there was like a solid maybe 2 months of my life where my entire vocab just turned into like Rick and Morty vocal stems. But then I got to season 4 and it just didn't hit the same anymore, you know? Maybe it was the giant space incest baby.
Get ready, boys. The last thing this world needs is a giant incest baby.
You know, now that I think about it, that was probably it. And even if a lot of my friends who stuck with the show kept telling me that it got better eventually, and like, look, they even brought Evil Morty back, I just couldn't stop thinking about that fucking incest baby.
What?
But the point is that it just doesn't take a lot to like lose your audience forever, which I can tell you from the experience of watching The Walking Dead or reading through my comment section whenever I take a sponsorship. And so either because they're running out of ideas or just doing whatever it takes to keep people watching, usually what happens when a show goes on for this long is that everyone goes fucking insane. Like it reminds me of another late friend of mine, Riverdale, and all of the singular good time that we had together. Because it didn't matter if they had an infinitely generating amount of serial killers, multiple musical episodes, time travel, the Mothman, the Gargoyle King, or a bomb that sent the whole cast into an alternate universe called Rivervale, where Archie had his heart cut out by a ritualistic cult. All things that actually really happened.
Am I getting warm, Daddy?
Riverdale is a joke.
None of which ever seemed to increase the show's constantly declining ratings, but did increase my homicidal thoughts. But Riverdale starting as a teen high school murder mystery and ending with them turning into the Avengers is just kind of like the standard for what happens when shows go on for too long. Like I don't watch a lot of cable TV on account of not being in a nursing home, but every time I miss that Netflix button on my remote, I end up doing like an involuntary welfare check on the cast of 911, which again began as like a grounded show about firefighters, where they are now going to space and dealing with bee tornadoes.
Is that it's a B-NATO?
And you know Baywatch, that like lifeguard show with David Hasselhoff? Well, when they got to the point where he was like disarming live grenades on the beach, they figured they may as well give him like a detective spin-off show, where in the second season he starts fighting aliens. Season 1, Mitch investigates the murder of the agency's previous owner. Season 2, Mitch investigates a series of murders committed by a half-man, half-fish woman. Mitch heads to an oil rig where they encounter a gelatinous sea monster. Mitch enters a cabin that takes him back in time. But you know what they say, that death is only the beginning of an animated prequel show that looks like Subway Surfers.
What universe are we living in right now that we're getting a third spin-off within the universe of The Big Bang Theory?
A new Stranger Things spin-off show just got announced.
Why is Stewie getting a spin-off show?
Steven Universe is getting a new spin-off series.
The best animated show of all time is finally back.
Squid Game have announced a cinematic universe.
Because I honestly believe this is because they're going off of nostalgia and they don't know how to let things die. It's gotten to a point where everybody's in that Nickelodeon space where you can't get rid of your famous IP. Your famous IP, you just can't seem to get fucking rid of. And it sucks because it's like you basically saying you're not capable. You're basically saying you're not capable of giving people something other than what you've already given us. You're saying that I can't come up with anything creatively. I can't do anything. I can't think. We can't find anybody that's doing anything creatively that's going to spend and that's going to raise the bar for our channel or our platform. Like, yo, it's gotten to that point, bro. I hate to say it, but it's gotten to that point where the creativity is no more, and it's like we can't do anything else. So let's just reboot everything. Let's either reboot everything, revive everything, or just act like this shit never. Or just, make a spin-off with a character that nobody would have thought would be able to get a spin-off for. Like, dog, it's at that point, bro, where it's like what's the purpose? You know what I'm saying? You're ruining the original content when you do shit like that. Now, for certain shows, you can probably get away with it because of the universe or because of the characters. Like, maybe you can get away with, like, it works for certain shows. Like, for instance, like with Power. It works for Power because the characters have fleshed out stories that, and you kind of want to know, like Raising Kanan, you kind of want to know, like, how did Kanan become this? You know what I'm saying? Or for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happens with Tommy after this? You know what I'm saying? How does Tariq move on after killing his dad? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does Tommy move on after, you know what I'm saying, after leaving New York? Like, how does that work? But I digress. It works for certain shows, but it can't work for every show. You know what I'm saying? Like, for cartoons, I feel like if we went through the growing pains with a character and we got to the conclusion to where they've made it to, why are we continuing on their story? We've already seen what happens with them. His story is done. We don't need no more of their story. We don't need to know anything about the side characters, because who gives a fuck about the side characters? We don't need spin off of the side characters. We don't need reboots to redo the shit all over again. No, we don't need it, bruh. Let things die, let things end, and create something better. But like I said, nobody knows how to create no more. That's the sad part. That's where we at now. Nobody knows how to create content anymore. But it's sad where we at now. There's no more creative people out there. Everybody using AI. Everybody trying to just find a quick little cash grab. You know, it's at that point now. I think this is why we're at that point where some franchises refuse to die, some companies refuse to give up on things, and it's just gonna keep getting worse from here. So if you had a beloved show that ended like what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and they're already talking about doing a spinoff or reviving the show or rebooting the show or giving it another season, just know that everything you loved about that show is about to be ruined. So yeah.
Guys, this is insane. We're getting another Adventure Time spin-off.
You've been voicing Jake the dog for 15 years. What's been most rewarding about this character just living on for a decade and a half now?
The paycheck.
Which I think brings us to the final stage of TV immortality, the soap opera. I'm talking about those shows that have been airing at exactly like 3 p.m.
I forgot about soap operas, even though I don't watch soap operas, so I wouldn't have even thought about them. But yeah, soap operas have been on for a long time. Shit, some soap operas been on since the fucking, what, 50s, 60s, 70s? God damn. And they still going, bro. They'll run through all these actors, all these characters. Niggas done passed away and shit, and yet they still running. They running, man. The show is outliving the actors that acted on the show. That's sad. That's when it gets sad.
That consist entirely of like 2 people standing in a room and arguing for longer than the entirety of One Piece, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Home and Away, where all I've ever known about any of these is that they're like Cocomelon for old people. Like, I remember one time I asked my grandma what was going on during like a Bold and the Beautiful episode, and despite her knowing about 5 total English words, proved to me over the course of the next 25 minutes that she has somehow retained about 30 years worth of the show's lore. We're talking 60 seasons, 15,000 episodes, airing 5 times a week.
You have interfered for the last time!
I don't know what the fuck any of these people did to deserve like living in some kind of eternal purgatory where someone is perpetually either pregnant, divorced, suicidal, British, or part of an 8-month-long arc where someone is possessed by the devil.
You have possessed my wife again, haven't you?
Aren't you the clever one, John Black? Your precious Marlena is mine now.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Brooke on Bold and the Beautiful has been married 15 times. And 8 of them were to the same guy. Like, it gets to a point, man.
How many times has Eric Forrester been married on Bold and the Beautiful?
I think the number is 6 or 7.
And because these are designed to go on for longer than their audience's entire lifespans, they have to come up with like a reason why any actor leaves the show, which is why the British show Coronation Street has killed more people than most world wars. I mean, here I was thinking that Grey's Anatomy was a show about doctors, and little did I know after looking it up that I found out these guys are constantly surviving plane crashes, shootings, ghosts, and worst of all, a musical episode.
It was genuinely announced that we are getting a spin-off series of Rick and Morty with solely just the president.
And now, much like a Family Guy cutaway gag, I'm going to segue into something that has absolutely nothing to do with what you were watching. Every single time we've gotten a new Toy Story since the third one, which is twice, I don't know why I'm saying it like that, the reaction is always the exact same thing. Seriously, I can't believe they made another Toy Story. There's two sides to the argument that we have every time they make another Toy Story movie, you know? There's the people that recognize that a Toy Story 5 doesn't take away from how good Toy Story 3 is, and then the other side, who told those people to shut up. But I think where Pixar fucked up is that if they were going to spend the next 12 decades pumping out Toy Story sequels, then maybe they shouldn't have made Toy Story 3 so good in the first place. Because, you know, by making a trilogy this good, they've now set the standard for how good all of these have to be. And so it doesn't matter to anyone that, like, Toy Story 4 and even 5 are pretty good. They're still competing with Toy Story 2, which is the best one. And you can't even argue that because you know in your heart that I'm right. But with Toy Story, I think it's a bit more than these just feeling like unnecessary sequels, you know? I think people would be a lot less mad about, like, a fourth Matrix or an Indiana Jones movie where he's 9,000 years old if we didn't already have movies where we said goodbye to these characters. Like, sure, I'll take a third Incredibles and another Monsters, Inc., but Toy Story felt like it was done, right? Like, we were good after this. Like, what was the point of having such an emotionally satisfying ending where, like, just before he goes off to college, Andy chooses to give something that means so much to him away to someone else because he knows that she needs it more than he does right now, and then goes on to move on with his life while the toys get to start a brand new one. In Toy Story 4, Bunny shoves Woody in a closet and replaces him with a fork that spends the whole movie trying to kill himself. And so before the movie had even come out, people had already decided that the Toy Story series had gone the way of Peter Griffin going down his stairs and fell off. But, like, as far as unnecessary cash grab sequels go, it might have been extremely unwanted, but at least it was really pretty to look at. And I can really relate to that, you know? I like Toy Story 4, okay? Like, sure, it's not as big as the last one, and it's kind of hard to, like, be invested in the emotional well-being of a fork when they were literally gonna fucking die in the last movie. But the ending gave us, like, a little bit more closure with Woody, with him realizing that it's okay to live his own life, even if that means being away from his family. And I thought that was enough to justify the existence of a fourth movie. And then in Toy Story 5, it's like, oh no, he's just like down the road if you need, like you can just give him a call. Because like every one of these movies is perpetually within toy walking distance of one another. Toy Story 5 is like the most spiritually straight to DVD movie I've ever seen. I'm not saying that means it was bad. Like I liked it, but I'm also nearly 25 years old. So, but I think most other emotionally immature 25-year-olds can agree that Woody and Buzz kind of like ran out of stuff to do by the end of the third and fourth movies. So like now all we get with the addition of another sequel is like you get to see Woody go from like a borderline insane psychopath to a slightly fatter and bolder insane psychopath. And like shifting the focus to Jesse was a great call to set it apart from the others, but just ends up making you wonder why they didn't just do it as like a spin-off. Oh yeah, right. But much like with The Simpsons and its 18 trillion episodes, there's only so much that you can do with the same premise before you turn into the Fast and Furious movies, which went from the humble beginnings of being about illegal street racing to The Rock and Jason Statham fighting a cybernetically enhanced Idris Elba, which is so much worse than the space thing, okay? I don't care what anyone says. A franchise that's as immortal as its entire cast is, that I think is only topped by like the entire horror genre, specifically the Halloween movies, which is about as committed to its decision-making as the entire population of a gym on the 1st of January. And if you allow me, I've prepared like a little presentation for it, because you guys aren't busy, right? The first Halloween is a simple movie about a realistic depiction of what it's like walking home as a woman at night, that ends with our hero Jamie Lee Curtis shooting Michael Myers and pushing him off of a balcony, which they leave open for Halloween 2, where Michael Myers is now Jamie Lee Curtis's brother, so they shoot him 40 times and blow him up. But that doesn't even matter, because then in Halloween 3, we find out that all of that was just a fake movie inside of another movie, until Halloween 4, where Michael Myers is real again, actually. So they hit him with a car and shoot him another billion times, which he then miraculously survives in Halloween 5, where it's now revealed that Michael Myers is telepathically connected to Jamie Lee Curtis's niece, who in Halloween 6 is then abducted by a cult that impregnates her with Michael Myers' child until he is defeated by Paul Rudd.
It worked. Power of the runes stopped him.
But then in Halloween 7, they changed their minds again, because none of that happened actually, because Jamie Lee Curtis pushes him off of a balcony, crashes a van into him, and then decapitates him. And you might be reasonably thinking how he could possibly survive that one. And obviously it's because he swapped clothes with some other guy at the last minute, because the real Michael Myers is now doing karate with famous rapper Busta Rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
But you know, at least after all this time, they've finally known when to stop. I think Star Wars is another one where like back in the day, whenever a new movie was coming out, you could feel and smell the hype around the world. And now after like 27 Disney Plus shows a year, we're somehow at a point where we had a new Star Wars movie drop last month after a 9-year break, and it was getting box office mogged by a 4chan meme. So of course with Toy Story, you can always just not go see it. But you will. And you can beg Disney not to make another one, but they will. And
I didn't want to go see it, but I was forced. I was forced against my will. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm forced against my will.
Everyone's going to complain about it, and the reception is going to sound the exact same as the feedback I get after every Hinge date, and then it will be the highest grossing one in the series. So, yeah. We sure showed them. It's not a secret that like 90% of Pixar is funded by Cars and Toy Story merch. So like they were never going to let this go when Toy Story 4 made more than all of their last 4 original movies combined. And again, not that I blame them, okay? Like, did you see Elio? Because I already told you I was busy that weekend, okay? You were meant to cover for me.
Oh my god, there is no way we're actually getting Adventure Time, and it's titled Adventure Time Side Quest, which is a prequel that follows Finn's early childhood.
So, as I was saying, Family Guy. So yeah, you know, even though I've not watched a single episode of the show consensually, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're really gonna miss...
Oh my god. Yeah, bro. It's gotten to a point, bro, where it's just like, just gotta let them fail, bro. At some point, people will get tired of them, bro. At some point, people will stop going to watch these movies. People will stop going to enjoy these shows. At some point, I still try to figure out who the fuck is watching Family Guy. I know nobody is watching The Simpsons. I know that much for a fact. I know that much for a fact that nobody is watching The Simpsons. Probably like a couple of people occasionally go ahead and watch the show and be like, yo, what the fuck is going on here with this show? And with Family Guy, I know it's only probably about like 5 people that watch that shit across the world. It's got to be like 5 people across the world that watch that show. South Park, they still got their following, but bro, let's be real, bro. South Park should have ended a long time ago too, bro. I stand on that hill, bro. I stand on that fucking hill, bro. That South Park should have ended a long time ago too. South Park should have ended after Donald Trump was voted out of office around like 2020. Yeah, it was time to write off the South Park crew. Maybe give them a movie and then write them off. But nah, let's just keep milking this shit, bro. Like, it's sad, bro. It's sad. I'm not a fan of these shows going forward, bro. I don't care for them no more. I'm not a kid that's just like, ooh, naughty shows, yay. Naughty show that I'm not supposed to be watching, but I'm gonna watch it anyway because it's naughty, yay. I get to watch a grown people show. Nah, bro. End this shit. Get it the fuck up out of here, bro. I'm an adult now, bro. I ain't got time for this kiddie shit no more. But anyways, though, that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Hey, man. A lot of these shows need to end. A lot of these movies need to come to an end. It's like, dog, it's sad, bro, because these niggas create these shows and like, you do all this, you put all this effort into one show, but you can't create another show. It says a lot about you as a creator. I'm just saying, bro. But anyways, though, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see y'all in the next video. Till then, deuces.